Fury at Zámoly 1 is the Historical Advanced Squad Leader module. What is Historical Advanced Squad Leader module? Well, probably most of you know that Advanced Squad Leader modules can be divided into two types. First are the ones with classic geomorphic maps, scenarios, sometimes new counters, etc., and historical modules. And the major difference between these two is the fact that historical modules have their own historically accurate maps that depict real places, not the fictional geomorphic maps. And also, this module was not released by the Multiman Publishing, which is a regular publisher for the Advanced Squad Leader stuff, but by Advancing Fire, one of the so-called third-party companies, small companies that are focused on really releasing additional stuff for Advanced Squad Leader, like Broken Ground, publishing Critical Hit, Bounding Fire, etc. Most of these companies take their names from some special rules from Advanced Squad Leader. They are often releasing their modules about some less known but still interesting aspects of the World War II, and even not a World War II itself, because, for example, Critical Hit released some modules for the World War I, Vietnam, or I believe they had even a module for the American Civil War in the Advanced Squad Leader style. I don't think it is a good idea anyway, but still they made it. So these companies are often well known of the quality of their products, good or bad. I don't want to say who is good and who is bad, but one of the things that I really like in their products is the fact that they often try to make their games, their counters, their boards look more modern than regular Advanced Squad Leader stuff that still keeps their 80s graphic style. And that's what you can find in the Steel Fury at Zámoly first. So let's take a look on the game itself. I just get it. It is a very fresh product. It was released at the November 2025. So I just get it. And let me share how it looks inside. So first we got a booklet. A booklet that comes with, let me count, 28 pages, and these include a lot of new rules. Yes, a lot. Because this game comes with a lot of Chrome, a lot of additional special rules about units, terrain, weather, everything that makes this battle very special and unique. Also, you will see later, because I'm going to show you in more detailed way, a couple of new counters depicting German cavalry units, Soviet units in winter camouflage, etc. So in fact you can play all these battles with mostly counters from this module. You will need some additional counters from Beyond Valor, but most of the counters that you need to play scenarios for Zámoly are already inside the game. As you can see, a lot of new terrain features, because board looks very different than the ones from regular Advanced Squad Leader, and it is and they are different in the definitely good style. I will show you later when we will go into the boards. So here are all the new rules, new units, new terrain. As you can see, a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't call this module perfect for someone who just entered our crazy land of Advanced Squad Leader. No, this is rather for the people who are playing HASL for a long time and they would like to taste something new, to find something new in the game they all know so well. So I think that's where this come in handy. Oh, you can see, for example, Soviet 88mm guns. Yes, these are captured German 88mm famous 8,8. And Soviets used them as a captured weapons as well. Here you can find a very interesting vehicle. This is Panjewagen. It is definitely simply a wagon train with a German 81mm mortar. So, of course, Tigers with Porsche turret. So, or here we have Zwische Lösung. This is a German tank destroyer with 75 long gun. Next, we have a couple of rules for the campaign game, because this game is not only meant to play in the classic Advanced Squad Leader style. So you play a scenario, finish it, play another scenario, but it provides the rules to play the entire campaign that depicts the entire 4 days Battle of Zámoly with a long time and a huge board. I think the biggest board I have ever seen for Advanced Squad Leader. So here we have all these campaign rules, but that's for the people who have a lot of space and a lot of time, and I mean a lot. So here are campaign rules. Here are some optional rules that you don't have to use, that you make use them just to make a game different, more interesting, but these are purely optional. And finally, what is a very interesting thing here is an interview with Hungarian historian Norbert Schamfeber that depicts the entire battle, that tells us about interesting aspects of the units that fought here, about why Germans faced so many problems and why it took them 4 days to break through the Soviet positions, etc. A very interesting thing that I strongly recommend you to read, because you won't find much info about this battle in the internet. I tried to find it when I purchased this game and I wanted to read more about it before I get it, and I could find almost nothing in the internet. So that's why this interview comes in handy. Next, we have a couple of scenario cards. Of course, thank you for your purchase. Thank you for your game as well. And here we have a scenario cards. They are very nice and, well, again, they look definitely better than the regular Advanced Squad Leader board because of the color, etc. But what some of you may find a bit problematic is the fact that because of the size and everything, they can't fit everything on the single sheet. You always have to check on the side on the other sheet to find another part of rules. For example, here we have a scenario 1, and we have set up everything, OBA table, and then look here we have continue on the back of ZAM 4. So you have to look for ZAM 4 and take a look on the other side, and here you have a special scenario rules for the scenario 1. It might be a bit more confusing at the beginning. As you can already see at this very first scenario, these scenarios are not the very basic ones. They always come with additional special stuff like minefields, wires, OBA. Yeah, we all love OBA, aren't we? And some other stuff. As also, both sides are using a lot of interesting units, sometimes obscure weapons. This also makes a game interesting. So we have a total of 14 of these scenarios, and also boards from the Steel Fury at Zámoly are something different. They are not the usual small boards that we all know and like in the Advanced Squad Leader. They are huge. Like I said, I never saw such a big boards in any of the Advanced Squad Leader game. There were probably some. I'm not that deep in the Advanced Squad Leader, but I believe that this game is monster, even when it comes to the general monster games. I have a couple of monster games in my collection, like 1985 Under an Iron Sky, or what can I mention here? I forgot the name about the Battle of Stones River released in the Great Battles of American Civil War, which is also huge, but even so this game is bigger. But luckily, most of these scenarios are also just take a part of the board. So you need to set up your boards, but you only need use just a small part of each board to play these scenarios. Prepared fire zones, something that I rarely see in any of the Advanced Squad Leader scenarios, are also here. Next, I don't think you can we have a lot of scenarios for Advanced Squad Leader with cavalry on both sides, and in this battle we have German cavalry division fighting here and there, so you will also see some German mounted cavalry units. German cavalry is marked with this sign that when I saw the first time I was like, oh my god, a Batman! But no, if you look closer, these are two horse heads next to each other. That's not a Batman, that's a horse head, and units with these two horse heads icon are German cavalry units. From the other hand, we have Soviet units equipped with winter camouflage, and they have their own special counters as well. And these are regular scenarios. But next we have, oh sorry, one more thing I believe, yeah, 6 dirty little beasts. Tigers? I can't see tigers, so no, they are not tigers probably. Oh yeah, and that's the only one scenario that would require some additional stuff safe from the Beyond Valor. This is the young Shrachok of the second Recon that requires Hungarian counters. And finally, campaign cards that you need, that if you have a lot of space and a lot of time, you can play the entire 4 days long Battle of Zámoly with these cards and these units and these counters. But trust me, you would it would take a half of your room probably to play the entire battle, because these combined boards for the entire campaign are 2 meters long. Yeah, meters. I am a European after all, so I am not kind of, you know, inch fetishist or foot fetishist anyway. We are using meters and centimeters here. Okay, next we have some additional counter sheets for the terrain, and what is very interesting here, and probably complex as well, but well, we are Advanced Squad Leader players. We love our games being complex, and there is a lot of rules about levels, because there are a lot of levels on these boards. Yeah, if you don't like scenarios with different levels, this is not the game for you. And finally, cards for the campaigns. So these are cards, and next, oh sorry, we have 4 counter sheets. 4 counter sheets that are simply amazing. Yeah, I have already seen beautiful units that Bounding Fire, another third-party company, made for the Poland in Flames module. That is absolutely amazing and looks much better than original Advanced Squad Leader has. And here the same. Just look closely how nice they look. Definitely better than the regular Advanced Squad Leader. Well, that's the matter of taste, of course, but I believe that most of you agree it would be fantastic if we would ever get such a nice remake of the units. So, if you like, you can always use these units if you have your scenario that requires units with winter camouflage, for example, because all these Soviet units are equipped with winter camouflage weapons. But here you also have regular Soviet units So you can use them for your regular Advanced Squad Leader plays as well, if you don't like these old school style counters from the original modules. And same goes to vehicles. There is another counter sheet, and interesting thing is that we have a lot of American tanks that were sent to Soviets because of Lend-Lease, and here you can see American Shermans in Soviet style. Here we have another part of the Soviet infantry in winter camouflage and additional counters for light emplaced guns. Oh, an interesting thing that I forgot to show you are these German captured 88mm guns, and please see German Panzerschrecks, also equipped by Soviets. And also Soviet commanders, also really nicely made. Also Soviet snipers. I have to admit they did a really great job with these counters. Another counter sheet, this time with mixed Germans and Soviets. Here we have Soviet guns, also more German 88mm guns. This is an interesting thing because, as you probably know, Germans used a lot of captured weapons of every country they could. And Soviets were quite reluctant about it. They used a couple of German tanks or guns like here, but it wasn't normal for them. Here we have German tanks, mostly Panthers, because the units of the 23 Armored Division and 3rd Armored Division had mostly Panthers, but also Tigers. Well, we all love these Tigers, aren't we? And some, well, more regular tanks like Panzer Force or even some cars. Next we have these Batman units, as I call them, these German cavalry, German Stücks, and finally the last counter sheet that provides more Batman forces and another part of the German vehicles. So, in fact, if you have all these counters, I believe you can play most of the scenarios for this game just with them. You won't need much of the counters from the Advanced Squad Leader. You would need some, probably, but I believe that you can play most of the scenarios with these really beautiful, nice color counters. That's one of the best things in this module that I have seen. And finally, the last part of this game, boards. When I saw these boards for the first time, my reaction was, holy Zámoly, how big it is! Yeah, each board is 66 centimeters big, and there are 6 of them. So to fit all of them together, you would need, I don't know, tennis court? Well, I think that's where HASL module would be necessary to play, because I don't believe someone in his regular playroom would be able to fit all of them. So that might be an interesting idea, how the publishers themselves fit them to playtest these battles. I would like to know, I would like to see this, that someone would be able to fit them all. But apart of their size, they are simply amazing. What I mean, just look at them. They don't look like all your regular Advanced Squad Leader. They have completely different graphics, and they are simply nice and modern. Yeah. Here we have a board 9, which is rather normal when it comes to the graphics, but I will show you some others, because like I said, there are 6 of them. And they are depicting typical terrain for the Hungary at the January of 1945. So, also, please notice that these color lines here and there, they are depicting difference of heights. because this was quite a mountainous and hilly terrain with a lot of different highs. So yes, there is a lot of stuff about high difference in these battles. If you don't like it, stay away. But also, here we have a flat terrain mostly. So let's go to the woods. We all love woods, aren't we? Here we have some woods. Also, they are something that I've never seen before in the Advanced Squad Leader. When it comes to the graphics quality, I really like how this look. That's something completely different that I have in the Advanced Squad Leader. Now let me show you something more about buildings, because here we have woods. And now let's go to town. Here we have some small village called Bolamayo. Sorry, pardon, excuse me my Hungarian, but even in Poland, I am from Poland, when we love Hungarians and we are probably best friends with them, their language is well known of being completely tongue twisting. So here we have some buildings. And that's where I wonder, yeah, if these boards will work fine. I mean, as you can see, there are a lot of features everywhere. We have even some minefields here and there. And the problem is that if this will work fine, because as you know, if you are Advanced Squad Leader players, that HASL is all about ranges. You are always firing on the very long ranges, and this is the end of the war, so a lot of your weapons have long guns. And the problem often is if you can write a line of sight between two units. That's where classic Advanced Squad Leader boards that are often very clear and simple are making it easier. On such a complex board with a lot of nice graphics and terrain features, I don't know if it will work as good as in the regular Advanced Squad Leader tables. Here you can see snow patches. Here more high difference, hills, roads, etc. Let's take a look on another board. Oh, here we have a title, town Zámoly itself. So definitely more buildings, and I wonder if another problem with me. Please notice that probably you know that in the Advanced Squad Leader, gray buildings are stone buildings and brown buildings are wood buildings. I wonder how they will, how we can tell what kind of building is here, because we have gray building and brown building on the same hex. So that might be I think that probably rules cover this, but because there are dozens of special rules in the booklet, so I think that rules would cover this somehow, but that's something new. Maybe they are mixed buildings, like in the Poland in Flames, when you had buildings that are made with both stone and wood. I don't know. So here we have a board 3, because this game comes not with simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 6 board, but 2, 5, 2, 3, 5, etc. Because it is titled Steel Fury at Zámoly 1. So I believe there will be Steel Fury at Zámoly 2. I wonder if it will provide even more boards, or it will just provide additional counters and scenarios for the same boards. Well, that might be an interesting. So here is the second board, which is actually the first board for this game, because this game has no board number 1, like I said, And that's all when it comes to the boards. And now imagine trying to fit them all into on the single table. Yeah, tennis court, or maybe, I don't know, something like this. Maybe some club or restaurant. Somewhere when you have a couple of meters enough to fit all these boards. That would be probably suitable, but definitely not your regular games table in your small room when you play your board games. Like I said, I hope there will be a HASL module for this game, because for playing this campaign, that will be absolutely necessary. So that's all when it comes to my first look on the Steel Fury at Zámoly. I think I'm going to play it soon, but it will take me a bit to get into, to grok the rules, to understand how they work. I mean, special game rules. And if I will be able to get into them, I will probably record a couple of scenarios for this game. I hope so, because you know, plans and reality are often two different things. Still, I think this is a very nice looking thing, but you definitely need some previous Advanced Squad Leader experience to get it. That's not something that I would recommend for the totally fresh Advanced Squad Leader players. But if you look for something new, you want your game look different, more beautiful and nice, I think that Steel Fury at Zámoly is something that you might like, especially if you don't like modules that comes with a long list of additional modules and boards that are required to play them. Here you need just the Beyond Valor and this to play most of the scenarios, and Hungarian units for the single scenario. So I think that's one of the most interesting aspects of the Steel Fury at Zámoly. So that's all for today. I'm going to play it now, and I will probably share my ideas maybe here on YouTube, probably on the Advanced Squad Leader Facebook site. Still, I am very eager to check it out, and hope I will be able to share with my experience with you as well. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hello and welcome. It wasn't easy to fight against Germans during World War II. Yeah, that's a basic fact and common knowledge. But it wasn't easy to be a German ally or be in any kind of other relationship with Germany in this time of the history. Let's give some examples. You can be a Romania. You can provide a lot of extremely needed resources to Germany, and still you have to be forced to give some of your territory to USSR or Hungary. You could be Poland. You could cooperate in a political space with Germany and even help Germans to take Czechoslovakia, and then you can be attacked by Germans in the next year. You can be Finland. You can have a good relationships with Germany, but when USSR attacks you, Germans say, sorry pal, but I can't help you. You can be Japan. You can be far away from Germany and have a very little serious relationships with Germany, but if you are attacked by USA, then Germans say, okay, I'm going to start a war with USA, even if it won't change anything on the Pacific theater of war. And you can be Italy. You can start your stupid war against Greece. You can have your ass kicked by Greeks, and then your good pal from Berlin says, okay, I will help you, and sends his best forces just to capture Yugoslavia and Greece, and then losing a couple of weeks before he can attack USSR. But among all of this, there was one country that really get something on being ally of Germany. It was Hungary. Hungary and Germany shared the same goal during the time between two world wars. They both wanted to get their lands back. the lands that they lost after the end of the World War I. For the Germany, these were the lands they lost after Versailles Treaty, and as for Hungary, these were the lands they lost after the Trianon Treaty. And that's what made them good pals and actually helped Hungarians to gain some of their old territories back. Of course, for the short time, because after the World War II they had to give all these lands back to their neighbors. But that was the fact that made Hungarians so loyal to Germany during the World War II. And at the December of 1944, where capital of Hungary, Budapest, was besieged by Soviets, Germans launched a series of offensives to get a city back, or rather to get the defenders back, because city was still defended by the German and Hungarian forces. These three operations, known as the Operation Conrad I, Conrad II and Conrad III, took place at the January of 1945, and, well, long story short, all three operations failed. German units were too weak and Soviet defenses were too strong to break through. Even so, these three operations and later operation fought at the spring of 1945 called Spring Awakening are pretty interesting and important and popular among wargamers. Mostly because of a lot of interesting units fighting in this time at Hungary, using a lot of unique equipment and facing interesting opponents in the fierce battles. And one of these battles, probably less known as and less remembered, was a Battle of Zámoly. A Battle of Zámoly took place during the Operation Conrad II at the days of 11 January 1945. At the beginning of the Operation Conrad II, German Division Viking, which was 5th Armored SS Division, launched its attack on Szekesfehelwar, but its initial impact was quickly slowed down by fierce Soviet defense. To give these SS units some relief and gain another success, another German attack was launched, made by the elements of the 23 Armored Division, 3rd Armored Division and 4th Cavalry Division. Battle groups from these three divisions launched their attack between cities of Szekesfehelwar and Mur and faced the defense of the Soviet 5th Guard Division, which was also airborne division, near the small town of Zámoly, somewhere here. A battle took place and longed for the entire 4 days. That's an interesting thing by itself, because when you see such a number of units being involved in such a battle, then you could think that it will go as smoothly as it went, for example, at 1941, when such operation would take Germans maybe a couple of hours to break through with 3 divisions against just 1. But in fact, it took Germans about 4 days to break through the positions of 5th Guards Division. Also, important thing was that the Soviet defenders were reinforced by the units of other Soviet groups around, like tanks from 7th and 1st Mechanized Corps. Another interesting fact is that these corpses were armed mostly with US equipment and 23 infantry division. Soviet positions were prepared, heavily armed with anti-tank guns, self-propelled guns, minefields and any other things that made German attackers finding a really hard time at this place and suffering heavy losses while fighting Soviets. After 4 days of fierce struggles, Germans managed to make their way through and take Zámoly, but like I said, 4 days. At this time of the war, 4 days was a long time. Way too long for Germans. So, despite gaining some tactical advantage and probably tactical surprise, the entire Battle of Zámoly wasn't a big success for German units. Why? Why it took them so long? Well, the reasons were complex. One of them was the fact that Soviets were well equipped, well prepared, and well trained. 5th Guards Division was creme de la creme of the Soviet infantry. It was, like I said, airborne division, so it was very well trained and equipped with a lot of anti-tank weapons, including captured German light anti-tank weapons like Panzerschrecks and Panzerfaust, and even, what might be a more interesting fact, some of the German 88mm anti-tank guns. Also, German units weren't as strong as they were at the beginning of the war. They had a lot of modern equipment like Panthers, Tigers, etc., but the manpower was different cup of tea. Before this operation, German units were quickly reinforced with a lot of fresh green troops with not enough training. And from the other hand, some of the elite units were heavily decimated in the previous fights, and sometimes battalions had the size of company and companies had the size of platoons. That made also battles near Zámoly very problematic for Germans.